Hi everyone, it's Lauren. I hope you're doing really well today. I thought I'd do a tag video. Oh, I've not done one of those in about 5 million years. But I saw this tag on Sarah's channel, Your True Shelf, and I thought this is a really nice one. I liked the group of questions. So today I bring you the dilemmas of a book nerd tag, which was originally created by Lindsay's Little Library. So I'll leave links to both Sarah and Lindsay's channel in the description box below. And all of the questions. If you are a booktuber and would like to do this as well, consider yourself tagged. So let's get on to the questions. So dilemma number 1, book storage. How do you store and organise your books? So we have a 1-bedroom flat. I may have shown you before, but most of my books are in this bed. This is a storage bed, and they are all under there, essentially, out of sight, out of Will's sight, out of Will's mind. That's my clever plan. I don't know if it really works. So every time he opens the bed, he's like, "There's so many books in here." But that's only because we don't really have a place where I can have like full-on bookshelves. Like when we get our house, this is the dream. If and when we move into a house, is to have like some nice floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, which I keep trying to explain to Will that bookshelves actually hold a lot more than you would think. Like the books I've got under the bed look huge because they're all piled up. If they were on a shelf, it wouldn't actually take up that much space. So that's my dream. But what I used to do was organise them all kind of alphabetically by author, and it was like a full-on library, and I loved doing that. So when we've got a bit more space and a bit more flexibility in the house, so that's what I will be doing. Dilemma number 2, tracking. How do you keep track of what you have read and what books you own? I don't keep track of what books I own, actually. I just never have. But I use Goodreads to keep track of what I've read. So you can follow me on Bookreads if you haven't already. I don't actually use Bookreads for anything else. Like I don't interact with other people very much, so I'm not like a great friend to have on Goodreads, but I like it just for myself. So I just list all of the books that I'm reading, I give them star ratings. It just makes it really easy for me to look back kind of at the end of the year and stuff, like what books I've enjoyed. But I don't write reviews on there or anything, because I do reviews here on BookTube, so I don't need to do it more than once. Dilemma number 3, borrow. Do you lend your books out? Yes, I do, but just to specific people. Not because I don't trust people, but just because only specific people ask me. But to be fair, I do tend to get a lot of books and duplicate books, and when I've read them, I don't, unless it's a book that I really, really love, I don't feel the need to hold on to it. So often I just give books to my friends if I've read them already. But the books that I do lend out, I do have a little system on my phone, and I write down what people want to borrow, who has what, just so that I know where all of my books are. I mostly lend them out to my friend Kate, to be honest, and we have a little library system going on. I have given my mum books, but then she doesn't read them, so I just I fish them back off of her. And then my friend Stephen, my friend Ashley, like there's a couple of people who are quite into it, and I lend them books. Dilemma 4, buying. How do you buy or acquire your books? I don't buy books that often, actually. Is that a lie? I don't know. If I buy books, I tend to just go to shops and buy them. I don't tend to order them online, just because then it would be ridiculous. I do obviously get sent books by publishers, but I've really cut down on that. I don't ask publishers for things very often, to be honest. If I get an email saying, "Oh, we've got this coming out," or there's an event and they explain some, give us some books at an event, then I will take them. But I don't normally ask for a lot. I think just because we don't have very much space, so I have to really want a book in order to receive it. And I'm sure there's lots of amazing things that I'm missing out on by not just getting sent a lot of stuff, but I just feel like I don't read that quickly. I would rather not have piles and piles of books in my house. I just feel like it's really unnecessary. And I was going to say selfish then. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like there's no reason for people to send me loads of free books if I'm not going to read them. It's a waste of time, a waste of everyone's money. So I tend to just buy them myself, or I download them on my Kindle. That's the only time I just do it really quickly. Dilemma number 5, comments. How do you respond to the "how do you read so much" or similar comments? I don't get them that much because I don't read that much. I think BookTube is like its own little world, and basically I read a lot more than a lot of my friends and family, because I just find it really interesting. But lots of people read that I'm friends with. I probably read the most, but not like by a long way. But compared to BookTube, I don't read very much at all. Like I just don't have time. I read on my commute. I do read in the evenings, and I read like on trains and things. So I don't often get that question, to be honest. But I do think the answer to this question, which lots of people have said before, is it's making time to read. I don't read that quickly. I read quicker than my husband, who is like the slowest reader I have ever encountered in my whole life, but I don't actually read, if I read fast, it's because I'm not reading it properly. Like I'll skip a whole paragraph and be like, oh, that's description, I don't need that, straight to the dialogue. Like I do read quite impatiently, but I just like reading, so I make time for reading. And I think I've become better at doing that since having BookTube, because I know it's like someone hitting me over the head, like you need some books for your wrap-up, so you better get some read. Right, what else have we got? Dilemma number 6. Next book, how do you pick your next read? I don't know really. I do TBR lists, to be read lists, every kind of 3 months to give me a bit of structure. But basically I just read what I fancy. Often I'll buy a book and then go, oh, I'll read it right now. So I don't really know how I decide. It depends what I've just read. Like I try and mix it up, so I'm reading different books each month. And honestly, I don't really know, because so many of my books are under my bed. Like every time I look at them, I go, oh my God, this book, I forgot about that. And then I'll just read that. Dilemma number 7, travel. How do you pick what books to bring on vacation with you? Honestly, size or Kindle. So if I'm flying, or if I'm going somewhere where I'm taking a suitcase, I will bring like my biggest, physically biggest, not necessarily longest, but biggest books. If I've got lots of hardback books or some really long books or something, I'll take those, because they are really difficult to read on a train, or like when you're commuting, or to put in your bag or something like that, which is when I do the majority of my reading. So if I know I'm going to be in a cottage for a weekend or on a beach or whatever, then I'll take a really big book, because then I'm like, this is my chance. If I don't have enough space in a suitcase to take a big book, then I'll take my Kindle, because then I have a lot of choice and it's travel light. Dilemma number 8, annotate. Do you write or highlight or mark up your books in any way? Absolutely not at all. I think this is because I didn't study English, so I'm not in that. I don't write myself also, and I never studied it, so I'm not in that habit of analysing and picking apart paragraphs or sentences or language or highlighting things. Like, when would I go back to the thing I highlighted? I just don't read in that way. But then often I'll finish a book and be like, oh, there was this really nice passage and I've got no idea where it is. Dilemma 9, new or backlist, which do you prefer? New releases or backlist books? I think all of us on BookTube just fall prey to new books, because people talk about something and you see other people reviewing it, you see your friends talking about certain books, and you get like that kind of hype that you don't always get. You do get hype in bookshops and in other areas of people loving books, obviously, but I feel like within the BookTube community, it's such like a game of pass the parcel that you see one person read it, so then you read it, and then someone else reads it or whatever. So I feel like there's a lot more hype around certain new books than there would be otherwise. I think personally, I feel like I haven't read a lot of backlist books actually, so I feel like I do want to go back and read older books. I like to mix it up. And finally, dilemma number 10, sequels. Do you read books as they are released, or wait for an entire series to be published before reading one book? I mean, no, I don't always read series, to be honest. That's not really the type of stuff I tend to read. Nothing against series, obviously, but that's not like the genres I read don't tend to have series. So I don't wait. So I hope that was interesting. I had fun doing that. Oh, I haven't done a tag video for ages. It's kind of like doing a Q&A, I suppose, isn't it? With like a pre-decided list of questions. I would also like to hear your responses to this video, especially if you don't have a YouTube channel. Like, just let me know in the comments below. If you do have a YouTube channel, film your own video, and I'd like to watch that. And I will see you next time. Bye.